Today we are going to do chapter 5, grammar chapter 5, verb forms and tenses. In English we have 6 basic verb forms. They're here in this chart. We have 2 verbs, talk as a regular verb and sing as an irregular verb. The 6 forms are the base form, which we can call the infinitive but without to. The base form, present tense, the base form, and sometimes it takes an S or ES with he, she, and it, as you know. Past tense, talked, sang. Infinitive, to talk, to sing. Present participle, verb plus ing, talking, singing. Past participle, talked and sung. As you can see, sang, the past tense of sing, sang, and the past participle are put in boxes, which means they are irregular verbs and they cannot be predicted. You have to memorize the forms of the past tense and the past participle of any irregular verb. Note that we said this. The 6 forms here, the 6 forms of base, present tense, past tense, infinitive, present participle, and past participle are the building blocks that we use to make up any tense in English. We have 9 different tenses, and they will be 12, as we will see later. Okay, these 9 tenses are the intersections of 3 time divisions. In English, as you know, we have 3 time divisions: present, past, and future, and 3 aspect categories. We have 3 aspect categories: simple tenses, perfect tenses, and progressive tenses. 3 by 3 equals 9. This is why we have 9 tenses. The 9 tenses arranged by time and aspect are given in the chart below. Let's go to the chart. So we have present time, simple, present simple, he talks, he sings. Perfect, present perfect, he has talked, he has sung. Progressive, present progressive, he's talking, he's singing, and the same with the past and future time. He talked, he sang, he had talked, he had sung, he was talking, he was singing. Future, he will talk, he will sing, he will have talked, he will have sung, he will be talking, he will be singing. Note here, will is a member of a special group of 5 helping verbs: can, shall, will, may, and must, called the modal verbs or modal auxiliary verbs, as you know. The 5 modal auxiliary verbs, along with their present and past tense form, can, the past is could, may, the past is might, shall, the past is should, and will, the past is would. And from must, we don't have a past. Sometimes we use had to, which is the past of have to at the same time. So all these forms are called the modals. The string of up to 3 verbs. Sometimes we have a verb phrase which is about 3 verbs in a row. Looks quite complicated, but the entire verb system in English is governed by 3 rules. What are the 3 rules that govern the English verb system? Let's see rule now. Number 1, the first verb and only the first verb is tensed. Like French, when we have 2 successive verbs, the first one is tensed, and the other one comes in the infinitive. J'aime parler le français. For example, M is conjugated with je, with the subject, or is tensed, and the other comes in the infinitive, parler. A tense verb is a verb inflected for either present tense or past tense. Only a tensed verb can enter into a subject-verb relationship. But the first, if we have a verb phrase, for example, has been running. Look at these 3 verbs. The first one is has. Has must be preceded by he, she, or it for sure. And have is okay, and running is okay. So the only tensed form here is the first verb. It's tensed with the subject. The only word that is affected by the subject here is has, or verb to have. This means, of course, that only the first verb exhibits subject-verb agreement. At first glance, the future tense would seem to be an exception. Why? Because we have will. But in the sequence, he will talk. Will is the present tense of the modal auxiliary verb will. Yes, it is used to express the future, but will is still the modal, the present form of the verb will. Will, and the past is would. Look at the following sentence. It might rain tomorrow. As you can see here, might is the past tense form of may. Note that the terms present tense and past tense, when applied to modal verbs, refer only to the form of the verb, not to the tense itself. And it might rain tomorrow. We have might. Might is the past of may, but this sentence is in the future. It refers to the future. It might rain when tomorrow. Not the meaning. In general, the past tense form models express a greater degree of doubt, uncertainty, or tentativeness. When you are tentative, you are confused, you are uncertain than the present tense forms. For example, we have two sentences here. We can go to a movie. Can is present, right? We could go to a movie. Both could is past of can, but both express the future, right? So which is more sure? In which sentence is the speaker more sure? Of course, the first. We can go to the movie. And the second one, we could. This means you are tentative, uncertain. So the sentence with the past tense model, the second one, is much more tentative than the sentence with the present tense model. The meanings of the modal forms are discussed later in chapter 8. So this is rule 1. Again, rule 1, the first, when we have a word, a verb phrase, the first verb is tensed, or it is affected by the subject-verb agreement. Rule number 2, all verb constructions except for the simple present and past present consist of two verb components. In English, the present simple or the simple present and simple past are the only verb form that are one word. I played tennis yesterday. Played, one verb. My brother plays football every day. Plays, one word. Present simple and past simple. Any other tense has at least two words. For example, present progressive. He is running. I have is running. Past progressive, was running. Present perfect, has eaten. Past perfect, had eaten. And so on. Okay? So the first component is a specific helping verb in any verb phrase. And the second component is a particular verb form. Both components are fixed according to the following formula. Future tense, we have modal auxiliary verb like can, like will, and base form, I will eat, I can swim. Present or perfect tenses, we have all the time, okay? Or have verb to have, I mean have, has, or had. Excuse me? Mr. Haysam, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, sorry Mr. تمام أنا موجود برنوا عليه ماشي السلام عليكم. Okay, so progressive tenses, we have any form of be, am, is, are in the present progressive, was, were in the past progressive, and so on, plus the present participle, verb plus ing, as you know. Here are the examples, here are some examples that illustrate each of these three verb constructions. Future, we have will be, might have, can do, shouldn't worry. Again, we have a modal verb, either present or past form, plus the base form. Perfect aspect, we have, has, or had. By have, I mean the verb to have. And past participle, I have been, he had run, I will have worked. Progressive aspect, we have verb to be in some form, am, is, are, or was, or were, as we said, plus ing, verb ing. We are working, I was wondering, John will be returning, and so on. Let's go to exercise 1. We'll do the first 2 or 3 sentences together. So, we have an example. Bob had slept all through the program. We have the sentence, the original sentence, sorry, Bob slept. This is past or simple past. Make it perfect. The perfect of the same tense, past perfect. Okay, the answer is Bob had slept all through the program. Sentence 1, we will clean. Simple future, make it progressive, future progressive. We will be cleaning. We stay with the Joneses often. We need it perfect. It's present. So we have stayed. We have stayed. We attracted a crowd. We attracted is past, simple past. Make it past progressive. We were attracting a crowd, and so on. I'll move on to the next point. The traditional chart on page 52 is very misleading in one respect. The chart implies that the perfect and progressive aspects are mutually exclusive. In fact, both we can have both perfect and progressive. This is why we sometimes have the tense present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, future perfect progressive. Okay? So this is why we have 12 tenses, not 9 only, as we said earlier. Rule 3, if both the perfect and progressive aspects are used in the same verb sequence, the perfect always comes first. This is why we say present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, future perfect progressive. Why? Because the perfect comes first. Let's look at the example here. Rain clouds have been gathering. Look at the verb phrase, have been gathering. Have been is present perfect. I have verb to have as a modal verb, and the base form here is the past participle of verb to be, been. Okay, and at the same time, we have a form of verb to be here, and then followed by ing. Been gathering, this is progressive. So been here plays two roles, as the main verb of the perfect and the helping verb of the progressive. Okay, let's look at another example. I had been leaving the email. Had is past, had been past perfect, been leaving progressive. So it's past perfect progressive. She has been advising. Has been is present because of has been present perfect, and been advising progressive, so it's present perfect progressive. Since the first verb has is in the present tense, the entire construction is thus a present perfect progressive. We explained this. If we look at this sentence here, John has been having. John has been having. And this means verb to have can be used as a helping verb and as a main verb at the same time. Yes, John has been having. Having here is an action verb. He has been having a lot of trouble with his knees lately. So has, the first form of have, is helping verb. But having, which is another form of have, is a main verb. We had been having some friends. Had been having, the same idea. Had here is a form of have, it's helping verb, and having is the main verb here in the progressive form. Be can also be used as a main verb, like these sentences. The kids have been being cooperative. Have been present perfect. Been being progressive. And being here is a helping verb, and being is the main verb. Bobby has been being a pest ever since he came over. The same idea. But this is not standard English. It's casual in conversation or casual conversation, but in standard or formal English, don't use it this way. Here we have an exercise. Let's look at it. Look at the example. They should keep us informed. They should keep us informed. You want the present perfect form? The perfect, sorry. Add both the perfect and progressive and make this tense perfect progressive to the following sentences with simple verbs. Be sure to keep the tense the same. Yani if you have present, make it present perfect progressive. Past, make it past perfect progressive. Future, future perfect progressive. Like the example. Should keep, should have been keeping. They proposed, they have been proposing. Right? They had because it's past. Had been proposing. The drought affects, has been affecting. will claim, will have been claiming, and so on. Let's move to the next point. This is just a summary of what we have explained, just summary of what we have said. This chart summarizes what we have said. The same here. Here we have an exercise. Using the 12 names given above, the 12 names of the tenses, we have simple present, simple past, simple future, present progressive, past progressive, future progressive, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, future perfect progressive. So look at the example and name the tense. Harry was returning from work when he got the message. This is past progressive. Are you expecting anyone? This is good, present progressive. We have spoken before, present perfect. Should they be parking on the grass? Should be parking. This is future progressive. They had already been rewriting, past perfect progressive. Will you be staying? Future progressive, and so on. Let's move on to the next part. The word order is the word order. I think it's very easy. When you have a sentence like this, you suggested, have, should. You know that the model comes first and then should have suggested. It's very easy. Suggested can be either a past. I think we don't need to say this because, as I said, it's very easy. Here, rearrange the words and mention the tense. Look at the example. The new teacher using had been using. What tense is it? Past perfect progressive. You have been should. You should have been. This is future perfect. Sorry, future perfect. You'll say it's not future. When we have a modal verb at the beginning, it's a future. Okay? Should, even if it were in the past form. The program continuing be will. The program will be continuing. Future progressive, and so on. We have, I think we have come to the end, yes, of chapter 5. Thank you very much. Sorry, goodbye.